Go back to the eras of the highest decorative art, and you will find it a time when the workmen had beautiful surroundings. For the best periods of the decorative arts have been the ages of costume, when men and women wore noble attire, and walked in beauty that could pass at once into marble and stone to be the admiration of all succeeding ages. Think of what was the scene which presented itself in his afternoon walk to a designer of the Gothic school of Pisa. Nino Pisano, or any of his men, on each side of a bright river saw rise a line of brighter palaces, arched and pillared and inlaid with deep red porphyry and with serpentine. Along the quays before their gates were riding troops of knights, noble in face and form, dazzling in crest and shield. Horse and man, one labyrinth of quaint color and gleaming light. The purple and silver and scarlet fringes flowing over the strong limbs and clashing mail like sea waves over rocks at sunset. Opening each side of the river were gardens, courts, and cloisters, long successions of white pillars among reeds of vine, leaping of fountains through buds of pomegranate and orange, and still along the garden paths, and under and through the crimson of the pomegranate shadows moving slowly, groups of the fairest women Italy ever saw, fairest, purest, and thoughtfulest, trained in all high knowledge as in all courteous art, in dance, in song, in sweet wit, in lofty learning, in loftier courage, in loftiest love, able alike to cheer, to enchant, or save the souls of men. Above all this scenery of perfect human life rose dome and bell tower, burning with white alabaster and gold. Beyond dome and bell tower the slopes of mighty hills hoary with olive. Far in the north above, a purple sea of peaks of sullen Apennine. The clear, sharp-cloven Carrara mountains sent up their steadfast flames of marble summits into amber sky, and over all these, ever present near or far, seen through the leaves of vine, or imaged with all its march of clouds in the Arno's stream, or set with its depths of blue close against the golden hair and burning cheek of lady and knight, that untroubled and sacred heaven, in which every cloud that passed was literally the chariot of an angel, and every ray of its evening and morning streamed from the throne of God. What do you think of that for a school of design? And then contrast that with the depressing, monotonous appearance of any modern commercial city, the somber dress of men and women, the meaningless and barren architecture, the vulgar and glaring advertisements that desecrate not merely your eye and ear, but every rock and river and hill that I have seen yet in America. I do not say anything against commercial people, for it is not commerce that destroys art. Genoa was built by its traders, Florence by its bankers, and Venice, loveliest of them all, by her noble and honest merchants. I do not regard the commercial spirit of the present age as being opposed to the development of art, and I look to our merchants to support the changes we seek to make. Look at the ignoble character of modern dress. I do not know a greater heroism than that which opposes the conventionalities of dress. The somber dress of the age is robbing life of its beauty, and is ruinous to art. Not a deed of heroism done on either continent in this century is fitly portrayed on canvas, and yet the history of a country should live on, canvas and in marble, as well as in dreary volumes, The history of Italy, of Holland, and for a time that of our own England was told in speaking marble and living paintings. Healthy art is that which realizes that beauty of the age in which we live, while art is unhealthy that is obliged to go back to old romantic ages for its themes. Well, the somber and ignoble character of dress at present in fashion has brought art into a very unhealthy state by driving artists back to past ages for their subjects, although there is no more romantic age than our own. Instead of this servile imitation of romantic ages, we should strive to make our own age a romantic age, and art should reproduce for us the faces and forms we love and revere. But modern dress prevents the production of a picture or a statue in which may be embodied the element of that beauty and true nobility of form and feature pleasing to the eyes of those qualified to appreciate a work of art. It has almost annihilated sculpture, which has become all but extinct in England. And in looking around at the figures which adorn our parks, one could almost wish that we had killed the noble art completely. To see the statues of our departed statesmen, in marble frock coats and bronze, double-breasted waistcoats, adds a new horror to death. It is not that the flawless serenity of marble cannot bear the burden of the modern intellectual spirit, or become instinct with the fire of romantic passion. The tomb of Duke Lorenzo and the chapel of the Medici show us that in great cathedrals such as that of Chartres, or in the decorations of any building in Europe erected between the 11th and 16th centuries, is to be seen wrought in stone the whole history of the olden time, the representation of what the people most loved and took pleasure in. We look at the capitals of the pillars and the tracery of the arches and see the picture of the century before us, joining hands with it across the waste of years. You have simply to use your eyes, and you can read more in an hour than you can in a week out of a book. Contrast these with our public buildings. A workman is given a design stolen from a Greek temple and does it because he is paid for doing it. The worst reason for doing anything. No modern stone cutter could leave the stamp of this age upon his work as the ancient workman did. The problem is how to restore the modern workman these right conditions without which it is impossible to work freely or to work well. If we want to do real service to art, we must alter the external forms of dress. The dress of the future, I think, will use drapery to a great extent and will abound with joyous color. True art in dress will make our attire an instructor, an educator. Give then, as I said to your American workmen of today, the bright and noble surroundings that you can yourself create. Stately and simple architecture for your city, bright and simple dress for your men and women. Those primarily with any theory of life, but with life itself, with the joy and loveliness that should come daily on eye and ear from a beautiful external world. But this is not enough. You must give your workman a school of art wherein he can learn rational design. There are many schools of art in America, but they should place themselves in a more immediate relation with trade, commerce, and manufacture, and devote more time than they do now to making the common things of life beautiful. Then art in America would not lag behind the old world, but be quickened into loftier powers. And you must attach to each school a museum. I do not mean the dreadful modern museum, where you find a stuffed and very dusty giraffe face with a case or two of fossils, but where the workman can see clay, marble, wood, or glass specimens of the best decorative art to be found in Europe and Asia, so that he may come to know what is simple and true and beautiful. Then art in America, oh, such place is the South Kensington Museum in London, whereon we build greater hopes for the future than on any other one thing. For it is a rational museum, a museum of decorative art. There I go every Saturday night, when the museum is opened later than usual, to see the workmen whom we so much want to reach, and whom it is often so difficult to reach. The weaver, the glass blower, the wood carver, the embroiderer, and others with their notebooks open, and I feel certain that the week after such a visit their work is better for their observance. And it is here that the man of refinement and culture comes face to face with the workman who ministers to his joy. He comes to know more of the nobility of the workman, and the workman, feeling the appreciation, goes away with a heightened sense of the nobility of his calling. Again, your young artists, must decorate what is more simple and useful. In your art schools, I found no attempt to decorate such things as the common vessels for water. There is no excuse for the ugly water jugs or pitchers of today, for you might readily have more delicate and beautiful forms for them. A museum could be filled with the different kinds used in hot countries, in the olden times in eastern countries when water was precious, and when the daughters of men in the highest rank could go to the well to draw water. There was beauty and variety of form and design, and nothing so much as in common water vessels. Yet we continue to submit to the depressing jugs with the handle all on one side. There is one thing much worse than no art, and that is bad art. A wrong principle is often employed, and an inappropriateness of design in many of the schools of decorative art, arising from a want of instruction in the difference between imaginative and decorative art. I have seen young ladies painting moonlights upon dinner plates and sunsets on soup plates. I don't think it adds anything to the pleasure of canvas-back duck to take it out of such glories. Such scenes should be kept to be hung on the walls, for we should leave to the painter the art of giving undying beauty to the beauty that dies away and fades. Besides, we do not want a soup plate whose bottom seems to vanish into the misty hollow of a distant hill. One neither feels safe nor comfortable under such conditions. You must encourage and support art in your own city, instead of sending to New York or other places, paying heavily for such things by way of freight. You should make, by your own workmen, beautiful art for the enjoyment of your citizens. Weave your own carpets, design your own furniture, make your own pottery and other things from approved designs, instead of submitting to be charged heavily for goods which do not suit you and do not really represent your failing in good taste. For you have here the primary elements of a great artistic movement.